In the beginning, there was only darkness. Then came the Laser Masters, keepers of the light, wielders of mysterious power, who pushed back the darkness. For many ages, there was much peace and dancing. Over time, their deeds were forgotten, and the Order of the Laser Masters vanished. But now, the darkness has returned, and there is only one hope to keep the agents of darkness at bay. The last Laser Master.
His heart is pure, his body strong. The Laser Master puts it all on the line. He'll push himself to right what's wrong. The power of light was inside him this whole time. When he fights for peace. He never fights for the wrong reasons. The flow of time will never cease. The darkness lurks in all four seasons. What exactly is he fighting for? The storyline seems a little dubious. Is it real or a metaphor? Why is dance required to free us? Is the
Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. I'm BK Johnson. Welcome back, where we work on creating a community that's focused on meaningful discussion with the minimal amount of pride getting in the way. Why, thank you, Paramedic. Hi, Furs. Furs, Furs, Furs. Furs is the word. Let's go to Lightspeed. Whee! Whee! How's it going? Furs, Furs, Furs. Furs is the word. Hey, it's a Bible study day. I'm trying to get my feet wet in this. I'm new to all this, so forgiveness, please. You guys know that the only true wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. Socrates is one of my heroes, and I definitely take that into account for like Bible stuff for sure. I know nothing. I know that I know nothing. That's another Socrates gem. I'm a little late here. I was setting up some new alerts. I was gonna try to get them ready. Let's. I'll do that first. It's buffering bad. They can't take the power of God. Let's see. Hang on. Am I still buffering? Do I need to do something? What can I do? Try refreshing the browser because there's a lot of things going on with like chat and stuff. I actually don't see the chat from my chat right now. I see it on a restream chat right now. So the good news is I can actually see your chat there, Baramedic. The bad news is I can't see it on DLive. I can see it in restream. I don't know why. But yeah, that's something that's happening right now. Oh, hello there. How are you, Miss Thunder? I was frantically getting these alerts ready. You know of what I speak. Don't do it yet. It's not changed yet. But hang on. I'm gonna do this first. Ohayo gozaimasu, Pants Monster. Hey. How are you? I know who you are. I like Pants Monsters. I don't have any use for them because I usually don't wear pants, but you know. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I switch over to mature audience actually before we dig into anything biblical like my pants. Hang on a second. Almost done. I had to do this though because it's just too good. Too good. Miss Sub. I gotta set this up. I just have to. Well, we left off, we're in Matthew 5:23, by the way. We'll get to it in a bit. Hang on a second. Miss... What's I gonna do? Miss... follower. There we go. I just went to like a place with that I have the copyrights for this music and then downloaded a bunch of classical for this. It's kind of funny. New alerts, I know. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing. I could just play them instead of actually put them in right now. Hang on a second. I have no idea. I'm probably gonna like blast your ears with them. It's gonna be fun. Going to be fun. It's taking me a lot longer. I thought I could do it during the. I was like frantically trying to get it done during the intro thingy, but that didn't happen. I'm like, it takes a lot longer than I thought. Hang on a second. But we're almost done. So it's gonna take like 10 minutes, and then I'll actually read the Bible and think too much and talk too much. So don't worry, we're still gonna think and talk too much and make absolutely no sense. Keep in mind, everything I say can't and won't be used against me in a court of law because I may say something and think of something different next time I read the Bible. I talk about that a little bit, but you know, I've read the gospel quite a bit. So the beautiful thing about it is. You can actually learn something different each time you read it. So that's part of the reason why it's so nice, and it keeps my head clean when I look at the words of God or Jesus. Mostly looking at the English, the human words sometimes doesn't keep me clean. But anyway, I'm here after sexy time to repent for all my sins. So I hope you'll allow me to. Let's see. I think it may be mine. It's yours. Okay, cool. Everybody else has been buffering. What's up? If you don't see it, oh, you can see it above me, right? It's working up there. Good, good, good. Because I can't see it in DLive. I see it above me a little bit, and then on a restream chat, but it's still a little weird. We're going with Chore, Pants Monster. I see you too, Pants Monster. I know who you are, Remu. Oh, hiyo. But almost done with this. Almost done. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm not sure if the jet one's working. Someone's gonna have to send me a jet soon. Hang on a second. Someone's gonna have to send me an in-jet. So, okay, wait. Let's see. It's like a shiny toy. You made my Christmas, Miss Thunder. It's like a toy before, you know. Oh, Emma's here. Hey, what's up, Emma? How you doing? Let's see. Hang on a second. Let's see. I'm glad you weren't here for my first one, guys, because I was very nervous and uncomfortable what to do. I still am, but I don't really care. I've realized, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, pride getting in the way of a lot of crap. But yeah, let's see. Ain't no judgment. Only God can judge me, as Tupac says. And Tupac was almost always right. Give me a second. Save. Okay. I just totally changed all my alerts, I think. Let's see. This one's going to be... Here's a new alert there. There we go. Oh, wait. Did I... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oops. Okay. I actually deleted one of my alerts, like old ones. I backed up all my old alerts, but I forgot. I didn't back up all of them, and I just... Okay, whatever. Whatever. It's worth it. Alright, if I blast your ears, guys, be careful. You might want to adjust the volume. I don't know about these volumes, but I just put it in there because I don't do a good job. Let's see what we got. Did it work? Didn't work? Hang on. I have to refresh my DLive alerts? Hang on. Come on. I just want to see this, and I'm going to go straight to the Bible and calm my brain. Next one. Go.
BK. You got an ice cream.
Oh my god, it's so good. I'm gonna have to turn it up. It was too low. Let's turn it up a bit. Oh my god. Hang on. This is so good. Shout out to Miss Thunder. I'm not sure if shout outs work right now, but if they did, I'd be shouting the crap out of her. Hang on. You don't see chat? Yeah, I'll read it for you guys. There's Barometric, MOUK23, Austin Tiger, Pants Monster, you, Miss Thunder. We got Furs up there. But yeah, I can see it on Restream, but I can't see it all the time. But let's see. Hang on. Classical, that's garbage. This is real music. You want now? That's what I call real music. It's testing alerts. Let me save my changes. Oh my god. So good. What happened? Oh my god. Hang on. Save, TagLab, save. Come on. Don't make me look stupid.
BK. You got a lemon.
So good. Oh my god. Okay, what's this one?
BK. You got a diamond. Ooh.
That's my favorite, for sure. That's my favorite.
BK. You got a diamond. Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, it's so amazing right now. The shoutouts aren't working. Dang it! I put Miss Thunder in there. Or I put Miss. I think Miss is your thing. It shouldn't be Thunder. It is Thunder. It's Miss. I thought I put both in there. I'm gonna make it both. You're both Miss and Thunder after this for sure. There we go. The shoutout kind of worked on my screen.
BK. You got a Ninja Gainy. What?
BK.
BK. Whoa. BK. Ninjet.
Oh my god! If you guys didn't know what happened, me and Elf started a podcast called How Not To, and we shouted out Miss Thunder. But in that shout out, I was just making a comment about how I love her voice and the way she talks and everything about Miss Thunder's vibe, and I was like, wouldn't that be amazing if I could get the alerts of Miss Thunder doing BK doing that, and she's just like immediately the next day. The next day she did that. It's just here. I'll send you the link of the if you want to know why. Here's the podcast we did yesterday that we just released. It's right there. But oh my god, If you didn't follow Miss Thunder already, what is your problem? That was fast. What's up, Epileptic Gamer? Hey! Oh, how you doing, Epi? Oh my god. I just got new alerts and I'm testing them out from a lovely, lovely Miss Thunder. You can see it above. Yeah. Oh my god. It was amazing. Hang on. There's more. There's more of these alerts. What's the next one?
If I sound pleased about this,
Wait, no!
it's only because my programmers made this my default tone of voice. I'm actually quite depressed.
That's my old one. Hang on a second. And that's good. I like Claptrap, you're fine. But I'm basking in Miss Thunder right now. How dare you? How dare you, Claptrap? Hang on. Just a minute. Claptrap. Let's see, where is it? Follow. There we go. Oh man, this is not how a normal Bible study stream is supposed to go, but that's what I like. That's the way I like it. Keep it grooving. I turn off the music for Miss Thunder. We'll get the music back soon. But Miss Thunder supersedes any classical music. All right, let's test a sub.
A subscriber. BK has a new subscriber. Subscriber.
Oh my god, it's so good, guys! You should pay Miss Thunder for this stuff. I'll pay her with hugs and lemons or something, but she don't got to know about it. That's the good thing. Let's see, what was the next one? Let's see, what was this one?
The decision to host BK Johnsen is now. It's now.
Oh my god, Miss Thunder, I love you. Oh my god, what lovely alerts.
BK.
Oh, that's a real one.
Lemon.
I got a lemon. Thank you, my PZ. That's a real one. I'm testing him right now. Okay, wait, I didn't do anything. Let's see, what's this?
If I sound pleased about
Oh,
this,
it's still the old one.
because my programmers made
Update,
this my
Tidy Labs.
default tone of voice.
Let me
I'm actually quite depressed.
Let me refresh the cache. Update, Tidy Labs. None of this Claptrap today. Hang on. Update. It is updated. Come on, Tidy Labs. Come on. Get with the picture, Tidy Labs. Oh my god. Thank you, Malpeasy. Sorry, I had to start with that. What a better way to start than that. Oh my god. Diamond's the best.
BK. You got a diamond. Ooh.
Oh my.
Wow.
There's the follow.
BK got a new follower.
Oh my god.
Wow.
It actually happened.
BK got a new follower.
Time and place. Much love, man. I hope you enjoyed that cuddle party. We're going to go back to doing this stuff now, but oh my god. I just was debuting my new alerts. It's not. It's way better than that Barometric. It's Miss Thunder. Go back to this now. Oh my god. What a day. Thank you. And time and place is my usual spiel of followers. I do appreciate your love and support. If there's a way I can love and support you back, I'll do my best. Right now, we're doing a Bible study stream, but usually what you can do as a new follower, and right now's a good time because it's not like I'm in the middle of something important or busy yet. So if you want, pop a link in chat. Everybody follow each other in chat. I like to, in my community with the Jedi Knights and everybody, we like to share the love, spread the love. So for new followers, I like to allow one link in chat. Other times, goes for followers and subs and non-followers and everybody. Make sure you ask before you put links in chat. But for new followers, give us something to check you out on, man. So yeah, if you want us to just ask and ye shall receive, as they say. Oh, it worked, Malpeasy. We got tons of this. We got tons of Miss Thunder up in here. It's a little bit louder. Sadly, during Bible study, I turn off the alerts a little bit, but oh my god, that was amazing. Oh.
BK, you got a lemon.
I got a lemon, and I tested a diamond. Thank you.
BK.
Thank you, Koala.
You got a diamond. Ooh.
Oh my god. I really shouldn't be this happy, but I am. All right. I'm okay. I'm gonna turn it. I think the levels are a little bit off. Let me do that. Okay, cool. Well, guys, welcome. I read this Bible, like when I started streaming, I was actually doing Bible studies. I had Bible study for like an hour, and then I would play games for a couple hours, and that was my first streams for a couple weeks. I got through like Proverbs, doing that because I wanted to read Proverbs again. But after that, I just went straight to gaming, and it can only last for so long with knowing talking or no one being there. But I realized like lately I've been writing a lot, and one of the mirrors of your mind is writing. I've heard that before. There's like 3 mirrors or something. Like can't remember what the other ones are. But one of the mirrors is your mind is like mirrored by how you write and stuff. So when I started writing again, like trying to write hard again, I was like, wow, I need to clear my mind up. And I used to do these streams like this, and I used to, when I stream, I don't really cheat on the time as much. I at least put in an hour or so. I try to read the Bible every day, but sometimes I get busy and I get like 10 minutes or something. So like I did realize I need to get something to clear my mind up. For those of you who don't know my religious background, I really am anti-religion. My mom made me go to Catholic school when I was in elementary school for about 4 or 5 years, and that turned me into an atheist immediately. So for a long time, I didn't do anything like that. And then by my mid 30s, my life kind of like broke down. And
A sub.
the only thing
A
that
subscriber.
Really?
Subscriber. BK has a new subscriber.
Thank you, lady.
Subscriber.
Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. Anyway, thank you, lady. Resist that dark side. Much love. Thank you, Lady Crochet, for that sub, for the 1 month celebration. Anyway, my life broke down in my mid 30s. I gave up. Basically, I wanted to give up on everything. But the only thing that really could save me was like a higher power to help with my pride. And I never thought it would be the Bible because I hated it growing up. I tried to read it on my own. I tried to ask people about it, and it was always not fun. So basically, I said I'm just gonna get through the Bible quick and then go on to another higher power. Is what I thought I'd do. But I ended up finding out like, wow, that does help with my pride the most, especially when I look at basically what God's saying or Jesus is saying. So I come at it with that kind of view. Again, like a more Socrates vibe of like, I have no idea what's going on. I just know that it helps a lot, and I think it's really good. And through that, I've found some semblance of sanity in my life. And I think I need that for my writing. So I'm doing that, and streaming it helps me push. So yeah, I've read the Bible many times. I think probably like 5 or 6 times, different translations, front to back. There was a time when it was my darkest, where it was like 2 weeks straight. I only read the Bible. Like I just wake up, read, sleep, wake up, eat, read, sleep, and doing that. So I've definitely read like the Gospels a lot, and I've read the Torah a lot. The first 5 books of the Old Testament I've read a lot, and the New Testament I've read a lot too. Front to back, I've read probably like 5 or 6 times, but with different translations. But I'm going to start with the Gospels because I think that these ones help me clear my mind the fastest when I just look at what Jesus said. And that's what I'm going to do now. So yeah, we did 1 through 23 last time. And that's what we're going to do. What's up, Linz? Congratulations, yes. If you guys can't see chat, I can see it in Restream, so I will do my best to react. Now, in the Bible studies, though, one warning, of course. I gave you my background a bit, but I want to emphasize that, I'm a big fan of Socrates, and I know that I know nothing, so everything I say are just random opinions and thoughts, and I may change them the next time I read it through, because, I'm just, that's how I read the Bible, is thinking about that, and focusing on the words of Jesus for the Gospels, and try to look at what God's doing, because I'm kind of sick of looking at what humans are doing. Anyway, I turned off my alerts during these, so let's get going. I'm just going to go and ramble. I'll try to still react to the chat a little bit, but I might ignore you more than depending on what's going on in my study. So I'm just going to Bible study away. That's what I usually am going to do here. So thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy it. Have fun. I will. Let's go. To the screen. Okay. So last time, I finished at 122. Let's go to 23. And again, I look at what Jesus said. I'll try to fill in the gaps. So if you do have any questions or you want me to look at more of the human stuff, I can again. But I usually focus on what actually Jesus is saying when I read the Gospels. I've read the whole thing again without doing it this way, but I definitely find it easiest to clear my mind that way. Oh, I got disconnected? What happened? Oh, wow. D-Life can't take the power of God? Jesus is just too strong. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Alright. Did you miss everything? It's back. You missed that the alerts are gonna... Okay. Well, anyway. Okay. Well, good. We're back. Did you miss it? You missed everything important. The main thing is I don't know what I'm doing. I know that I know nothing.
DK, you got a lemon.
And I'm happy with my new alerts, but they will be turned off during the reading. Thank you, Liz. Oh, this is so great. Thank you, Miss Thunder. You totally made my year, like I said. It's insane. That's crazy. I'm gonna love these lemons and all the little donos that you give me now. Oh my god. But I will have to turn it off right now. Again, I'll try to do what I can to react to chat and donos, but I'm gonna turn it off while I read, so. And if there is something, again, always just chime in. I'm gonna try to focus on reading, but I just realized that you might have not heard what I just said before because it was down. So if there's something you need to know that I might have said, whatever happens, if you think I'm doing it wrong, it's probably because you missed it because I was offline for a little bit. Just think of it that way. Next. All right, alerts are off. Matthew 5:23. Oh, the one interesting thing. Well, before we get into it, I'm curious if anyone's here about like who have looked into these Gospels. Like when I was reading it, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the four Gospels, right? Like I really looked into like when I read it, I looked at like the context of it to see what's going on because after you read it a lot, you're like, oh, okay, why is it? You know, some of them are similar, some of them are not. So like Matthew and John are supposedly like the actual disciples under one of the 12 disciples under Jesus. Matthew's like Levi, and John is one of them, and it's very clear that he was because he says it in the Gospel. Mark, people think, from what I've seen, and it's not confirmed like everybody thinks it, but I think they guess that he is the scribe of Peter, and he's the little boy that runs away at the end of Mark. So it's kind of like one connection from a disciple is Mark's. It's like he was supposed to be a little boy, maybe. This is what they're thinking. I'm not sure, but this is what I looked up, and it was like Mark is going to be the scribe of Peter when that was going on. And in the Mark version, in the Mark Gospel, there's a part at the end where there's a little boy that runs away naked as Jesus is being arrested, and they think that's Mark. He was a little boy following around Jesus with his disciples at that time, and he's the scribe or the journaler for Peter, kind of. That's what they think for Mark. So it's not straight out of the disciples' mouth, but it's from one of his close people. And then Luke, it starts out with like, you know, I dedicate this to something of Theophilus and stuff. So it's theorized, and it makes sense that the way Luke is that Luke is like an academic, someone who goes around getting stories and tales of Jesus and compiles them into a report about it. It looks like that because there's some different stories in there as well. So it makes sense that if you're a reporter or an academic, a journalist looking at the stories, Luke has that vibe where it's like he's not really connected to the actual disciples as much, but he goes around and looking for stories. So there's going to be some interesting ones like the unrighteous steward and prodigal son, things that aren't in the other ones. So, and same with John. John has like a different thing too, but that's why it's interesting. Matthew and John are both disciples. From what they say, Mark is supposed to be the journalist of Peter, like right under Peter, like helping him with that. And then Luke seems to be like an academic or someone who gathers, like a journalist, to gather all these tales and decides what to put in there from the ones that seem like credible or the ones that keep repeating. I think that's the way it is, but that's just me. John's is my favorite by far, but yeah, John's is my favorite by far. John's is completely unique. Like, you can see a lot of crossovers from the other three, and John's I love John's because, to me personally, I think it's a lot of insight in how Jesus might be really talking. That's the way I think of it. I could be wrong, but the way John does it is really unique, and it's like, wow, holy crap. Like, the ones in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they're more like edited so it's easier to understand, I think, from the way they present it, but John's is like unique. Anyway, I just want to give that little heads up of I'm taking it that way, and of course I'm always open for changes in interpretations because that's basically the fun of this for me, is like I never know I don't really even trust what I just broke down, that I'm like, oh yeah, this is what they say, but again, Socrates, I know that I know nothing. So anyway, 123, let's go. 523, Matthew 5:23. Therefore, if you're bringing the gift to the altar, and they are reminded that your brother has something against you. Leave your gift there before the altar and be going. First be reconciled to your brother, then having come, continue bringing your gift, becoming to terms with your opponent in a lawsuit quickly, during which time you are with him on the way, lest the opponent hand you over to the judge, and the judge hands you over to the court attendant, and you'll be cast into prison. Positively, I say to you, or I will read it as amen, because that's what it actually is saying in the literal. Amen, I say to you, by no means shall you get out of there until you pay the last quadrantes, which is like a penny, a Roman penny. Okay. So the way I do these is I just read it and then I try to just empty my brain. So again, that's why I'm like, oh, I think it'll change each time I read it, which is fun. So don't take anything too close to heart that I say, because I'm just like trying to get some clarity. But I do like this one with the well, first I'll say the amen thing, like positively, right? I always think that's funny because amen, you're supposed to say amen at the end, and that's why when it says positively I say to you, or that thing, he's like flipping it on its other opposite end. You're supposed to say amen at the end. So asking God instead of saying it will be. That's why it's positively I say to you. That's why I will read that in the future that way. I like the difference in like spiritual to physical in this. Because last time we went through the Beatitudes up to like 22. When we did the Beatitudes, then we did up to 22. But a lot of it is talking about like the progressions and the difference between like physical versus spiritual, right? And I think that this is really interesting, saying like because in later parts as well, like he talks about like the judgment coming from God and whatnot. But he's saying it's like almost a warning, but on the physical side, because he's saying like, to me, this is almost like saying God can protect you, but it's like he's giving us the power to be like free will, and if you hurt your brother in the physical sense, or your friend, neighbor, compatriot, because that's what brother says it's over there on 21. If you hurt someone like that, it's your responsibility to come to terms with them before that, because there's going to be like things that the humans, like the judge can do this, and you still have to pay that out. Like it's almost like there's no free lunches, even if God's like technically, quote unquote, maybe on your side. This passage always seems to me like you need to take the self responsibility for the actions you take, even though you might be in the quote unquote right. Maybe that person, because of the way we have free will and all that stuff, like has the right to kind of report you and then do the things with the judges. So I think it's like that, where it's like a difference between the spiritual and the physical. That's the way I read this one. That's my first thought on it. I also think that it's great that he says leave your gift there before you go to the altar. First go to the brother and then do that, because I think he's a warning, because right before this he's talking about you have to be righteous more than the scribes and the Pharisees, which is like a hint that the scribes and the Pharisees might not be as righteous as they seem. And as he goes on from here, he's talking about like don't like try to make show to God before the people, right? Like the people are important. So basically he's saying you're giving a gift to the altar, to God, or to religion, or to whatever it is, to the spirit side, not the physical side. But he's like, drop that first and reconcile with the human instead of the actual, like, it makes sense that God would be more forgiving than the human. So that you don't get hurt from the human side, need to do that first. What version? I'm reading Gary Ziola's Analytical Literal Translation. It's a guy who really looks at the Koine Greek and tries to use it as literal as possible. So yeah, it's my favorite version. I've read a lot of the versions as well, but this is definitely by far my favorite. My sister recommended it to me after I read a bunch of other ones, and I love this one the most so far. So like yeah. Yeah, but John is my favorite. Luke, let's see. Luke seems more like Luke is like, again, I do think it's like gathering stories. Am I buffering for everybody? Let me know. Lynn says I'm buffering, so if anyone else is buffering, let me know. And I'll see if I need to do something. But yeah, one interesting thing about Koine Greek, Hebrew, the ancient biblical Hebrew, and Aramaic is that and but are the same word. So is there another one coming up? I think it is. Yeah. We're gonna do that soon. I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah. So even though it's supposed to be analytical literal, there's always that one thing where it's like, it's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, another interesting thing about this part, I think, is he's talking about you giving a gift to the altar to God and stuff, where it's like, if you have something going on that you need to handle with another human, who is your brother, which is a friend, neighbor, compatriot, as you see from 522, then take care of that first. I'm pretty sure God's going to forgive you. That's what I see it as. Where it's like, leave the gift before you go to the altar. Go settle that, because you're not gonna like get off scot-free just because you're worshiping God, and God won't like interfere with that to save you, type of thing, unless it's really necessary. And I think it's honoring that idea that we all are children of God, type of thing. That's what I think about that one. Next one, 27. You heard that it was said, "You will not commit adultery," and that's from. He uses the same words from Exodus or Deuteronomy. According to this, it's very similar. It's quoting Exodus or Deuteronomy. "But I say to you, everyone looking on a woman in order to lust after her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. But if your right eye causes you to stumble or to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you. And for it is better for you that one of your body parts perish and not your whole body be cast into hell," aka Gehenna. "And if your right hand causes you to stumble or to sin, cut it off, and cast it from you. For it is better for you that one of your body parts perish, and not your whole body be cast into hell." Gehenna. This is another one where, right before he starts these quotes, he's talking about, I'm not going to change one stroke or one tittle. I'm not going to change anything in the law, and the law is a term they use for the Old Testament, specifically the Torah sometimes, but I think it's the Torah is like teacher, I think. Anyway, yeah, so he basically starts saying, I'm not going to change anything here. And this is why I think it's really interesting to look at the word but and and, especially in this part, because but and and are always the same word in Koine Greek, in Hebrew, and Aramaic. And it's up to the listener or to the interpreter to decide to pick and or but. So since he literally just says, I'm not changing one thing, I sometimes don't agree with that but should be here every time. He's saying, you will not commit adultery, but I'm going to change this here, even though right before he says, I'm not going to change I'm not going to change a tittle or one thing. So, but could be and, meaning, yeah, you do not commit adultery, and I'm saying this too. It's like an amendment or an addendum. Like, this is more detailed about what it means to not commit adultery. So I think and is usually more proper in a lot of these parts for me personally. But I just think it's interesting because in Koine Greek and in all those languages in the Bible, the first language it was written in, and and but are the same word every time. So it's up to the listener to decide if he's using and or but. So especially when Jesus says, I'm not changing anything, I think and is usually more appropriate than but. But anyway, that's just my point. That's my idea. Anyway, so this is a highly controversial line because of, I just did sexy time, and I'm doing this to repent for my sins. It's funny that this is going to be one of the first lines I talk about. But there's another interesting thing about lust here. Because we usually try to make it really extreme and abrupt, because everyone knows. I mean, I've been married for 14 years. For those of you who know me, we have a strict looky no touchy policy, but we don't get freaking crazy when when we see if she sees a beautiful guy or a hot guy, or I look at a hot girl, it doesn't really matter as much. I think the key part that people usually don't look at is in order to lust after her. So I say to you, everyone looking on a woman in order to lust after her already committed adultery with her in his heart. And that's one thing I'd say, is the lust, in order to lust after her. So if you're looking, it's fine, but if you're doing it in order to lust after her, and lust is an interesting word too, back in those days, it's really meaning you're going to actually take action to get him or her in bed. Is like really like you're going to act on it. So that makes more sense. Also, adultery is interesting in the old days too. Whenever, since the beginning of the Bible, according to the Hebrew, in the ancient biblical Hebrew, their understanding of what adultery was actually, adultery is only happening when you sleep with a woman who is married and she's not, and you're not her husband or her wife, or you're not married to that woman. So if the woman is married and you sleep with her, and you're not married to that woman, that's adultery. Which means, if the woman is not married, you can never commit adultery with her. She could have sex with a bunch of guys, she's not committing adultery. A guy could have sex with her, she's not committing. Neither of them are committing adultery, because in the old days, that's what adultery actually literally was when they started making those rules, and that's what basically, again, it's the ancient biblical Hebrew. So again, those two things is what I look at for this line. One, it's saying in order to lust after her, meaning actually you're going to take actions to try to have sex with her. You're not just going to be like, oh, I wish I could have sex with her. Oh well, I'm not because I'm married or she's married, right? But if you're looking at her in order to get to her, that makes sense. And also, if adultery can only be done with a married woman, if the woman is single, it's impossible to commit adultery with her. That's the old rules, by the way. So, like, yeah, that's what they understood as adultery. So that's why I think this line gets a little bit interesting with the bad rap, where people say, "Oh man, you're committing adultery because of that." It's like, oh well, with those two understandings, you know, it's kind of debatable. And I do like how he sums it up with, like, the end is just like putting it in perspective. One of my heroes in the Bible is Solomon, and he goes on a lot time about how stupid adultery is. And it's like, I mean, to be honest, easy for you to say, Solomon, you had 300 wives or 200 wives and 300 concubines. So he's like, this is so stupid. Why do people commit adultery? You know, like, but I'm like, oh, well, you can kind of easier, dude. Like, again, you can adultery in those days. As long as the girl's not married to someone else, you cannot commit adultery there. And if she's not married, it's impossible to commit adultery. So, but again, it makes sense why he's saying how stupid it is, because at that point you're hurting someone else's relationship, some of the family. And that's why I think it makes sense here too, where it's like, it's not worth it in big perspective, just because your eye is making you want to do that, and your right hand is making you want to do that. By those terms of adultery and lust, it'd be pretty silly to do it that way, where it's like you're breaking up, you're hurting a marriage and a family and stuff. Because what I heard from, like, rabbis talking about the Old Testament and the Ten Commandments is, like, the main thing with adultery is usually because it's the reason that they make it that way, where it's like only be done with a married woman, and if they're not your wife, that breaks up families and hurts, like, lots of people. So, like, that's why adultery was such a big problem. Outside of that, it's just like other sexual sins. So adultery can be really bad in that aspect. So that's what I read with that. Adultery and lust, it's an interesting term with the in order to lust after her, and adultery in those old days, it's kind of different than the way we think of it now. But I think both of those, it's a contested line in the Bible, which is interesting. But yeah, one other thing I'd say, because people really get worried about this stuff with the adultery and this line and stuff. If you look at the Ten Commandments and everything that Jesus is saying and God is saying, there's only one real sin that's unforgivable. So any adultery, we always want to be like perfect and say, oh my God, I'm looking at this lady, I must be committing adultery, this is the end of the world. It's like, well, no, like, get better, like he's saying, it's causing you to stumble or sin, pluck it out and do that. But there's only one sin that's unforgivable, and it's saying that you know what God wants and you know that you're doing good for God when you're really not. It's carrying God's name in vain. Not saying God's name in vain, carrying it. And that's the one that they always say is, like, the one unforgivable. God, like, says it in the Ten Commandments. Outside of that, thank God God's forgivable, or we'd be screwed. Anyway, that's my thought on it. All right, 5:31. Now it was said, whoever sends away or divorces his wife must give to her a written notice of divorce. And he's using Deuteronomy 24. But I say to you, whoever sends away or divorces his wife, except for a matter of sexual sin or fornication, makes her to be committing adultery. And whoever marries the one having been sent away or having been divorced commits adultery. Yeah. These are all definitely highly contested. And again, I like to say, I think I read it as and instead of but. It says, whoever sends his away must give given her a written of divorce. And I say to you, whoever does send away his wife, unless it's a matter of sexual sin, makes her to be committing adultery. One interesting thing is that I'm curious, because the matter of sexual sin, I think we tend to think it's like, we like to judge, which is not a good thing to go by all the time. Only God can judge you. Tupac, shout out. But anyway, the matter of sexual sin doesn't say if it's for the woman or the man. Whoever sends away his wife, except for a matter of sexual sin. I think we assume that he's meaning that the wife is cheating on him, but I don't think that's the case. Because it didn't say adultery. It means that there could be sexual sin with another, like the guy could be doing it too. So I think it's actually interesting that gives another reason why possibly he's leaving ways to say this is okay to be divorced then, even though, in the Old Testament God says, I hate divorce and stuff like that. But I like how it says makes her to be committing adultery, because it makes sense that by the terms of adultery, if she's still married, then that's the only way you can commit adultery, is having sex with a woman who's married that's not your wife. And the same thing, and it makes sense there. Whoever marries the one having been sent away gets sent away, but you marry them. Sorry, you're having sex with someone else's wife because, yeah. And this is where I think of like marriage, where Jesus. I have to kind of do a spoiler alert, skip ahead, but there's a part where he says like, he refers when they're talking about like adultery and marriage and stuff. It's like he says don't like undo what God had done when in Genesis when two people cleaved into one, like they cleave into one, but don't undo what God has done. I don't think that written notices of paper or anything from the church decrees like is the power of like being able to make two into one. I view marriage as that, where the two people actually are the ones who knows if they're actually one or not. So again, if there's sexual sin or fornication that's breaking them up, they might not actually be one. But if they were actually one flesh, as there was quoted in the Bible, I think only like those two people and God can know about it. So that's what I think is going on with divorce. And it makes sense that if they're actually one in spiritual ways or whatever marriage thing, that way, the thing that Jesus tends to hint at from a lot of the Gospels, then just sending her away, you guys are one, you can't undo what God did, or you shouldn't undo whatever he said in the later on. It makes sense that he's saying, no, that lady's still married to that guy because they were one from the way the marriage should be originally, to cleaving to one or whatever. So that's how I read this one, where it's like in that sense of the idea, even if you get a divorce, she's still technically married because you were one. I don't think humans can judge for that. That's the way I take it. So I'm more of the vibe of like that's just a piece of paper written by people of under like whatever. And if you believe in the powers of priests to be able to do that, that's fine. And and that's good. That's actually help keep you together, I think, sometimes. But for me, I think that's between the man and the woman, or whoever's married, but the cleaving to one, and I think that's what he's talking about here, because that's the way it makes sense. If they are becoming one flesh, like that's supposed to be said, or like when and again Jesus quotes that later, then yeah, then divorcing like that, yeah, then that you're making her commit adultery because she's still married to that one that she was one before, under the godly terms, the spiritual cleaving to one terms, not the human paper terms. Same thing with if you send, whoever marries someone who's been divorced, but they actually were one flesh with another man, then they're actually committing adultery because they actually shouldn't have done that. They're just splitting up, even though they're technically one flesh. But anyway, that's the way I read that one. These are hard ones, man. Anyway, 33. Again, you heard it was said to the ancients, you will not swear falsely, but you will pay to the Lord your oaths. This is according to Leviticus and Numbers. But I say to you, not to take an oath at all, neither by heaven, because it is the throne of God, nor by the earth, because it's the footstool of his feet, nor by Jerusalem, because it's the city of the great God. And that's a quote from Isaiah or Psalms. Nor shall you take an oath by your head, because you are not able to make one hair white or black. But let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. And this is another one where I don't think it should be but, I think and, but anyway, because again, but and are always the same word in the ancient language. But let your word be yes, yes, or no, no, and the word which is more than these is from the evil one. So he refers to the part where it's in Leviticus and Numbers. And I think even in that it should be and. You will not swear falsely, and you will pay the Lord your oaths. And I say to you, not to take an oath at all, either by heaven because of the throne of God, nor by the earth because of the footstool of his feet, nor by Jerusalem nor shall you take an oath by your head because you're not able to make one hair white or black, but your words be yes, yes, or no, no, but the word which is more than these is from the evil one. Ah, okay. Yeah. This one is interesting. With the I'm trying to I keep using references from the future. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to isolate it in the Matthew one, but I'm like parsing through the other parts that's in the other Gospels, which is not a good thing to do. So anyway, I mean, I'm gonna do it anyway. I have to, because it's like the whole thing comes from the whole thing, you know. I don't like taking things too much out of context anyway, but like looking at the big picture of what he does and says a lot is, you know, there's a part in a couple of the Gospels where he talks about like the greatest of you will serve and stuff like that. Where those kind of words line up with me for that. When you're in service to something or someone, you say yes, yes, or no, no. You don't try to take the lead and make oaths, right? So, and again, I do think it's and not but, because he's not changing anything. He says he's just giving you more details of what it means. Is the way I read this part. And I think we all kind of can relate to when we try to make promises to even anybody, but it's even worse when you make promises to something like God, I'm guessing, according to this, but it would make sense if that's what's going on. But when we make promises to people, it's difficult too, if you ever break one by accident. And if you do it with God, it's like, oh, you might not want to take an oath at all, you know, because we can't even turn one of our hairs white or black. Where that's easy sauce for him, I guess, which it is. Anyway, yeah. So I look at it that way. Where if you are doing like in service to anything, if you're humbling yourself into anybody or anything, like a lot of it's gonna be like yes, yes, or no, no. Like you basically, it means like an agreement, or saying, not agreement, but like saying, okay, I'll do it, or no, and that's it. Like you don't have to go farther than that, right? You can just say yes or no. And I think that makes sense with the relationship with God too. If you feel like something out there is telling you to do something for good, and it actually is going to be good for everybody, you can still say yes or no, but don't try to say, oh, I'm going to do that too, or like bargain, right? I think it's partly that too, where I think we all can relate to the times where it's like, oh, please God, if you do this, I'll do that. At least I did that when I was a kid, you know. In elementary school, when you're a kid and going to Catholic school, it's like, oh, what else am I going to do? I mean, you do that with your parents all the time too. So, yeah. It's a nice little warning. And if you put it into the place where, like, you know, I can only imagine how many times God has heard, like, promises to him that never gets backed up. So, I think it's a good thing to say, you know what, it's better not to take an oath at all, because most of the times, no one's backing it up. So, just say yes or no, and that's okay. Anything beyond that is kind of coming from not a place of humility. It's coming from a place of, I know what will get this deal done. I know what you want, or I know what the good thing is to do. So, yeah, that makes sense on that one. That's a tough one. 38. You heard that it was said, eye for an eye, and tooth for a tooth. Exodus 21 and Leviticus 24. Deuteronomy 19. But I say to you, not to resist the evil one. But whoever will... I think it's and again. And I say to you, not to resist the evil one. But whoever will slap you on the right cheek, turn to him also the other. Okay. Not to resist the evil one, and whoever will slap you on the right cheek, turn to him also the other. And the one wanting to sue you and to take your tunic, allow to him also the cloak. And whoever will compel you to go 1 mile, be going with him 2. Be giving to the one asking of you, and you should not turn away the one wanting to borrow from you. Not to resist the evil one. Lamentations is what he's quoting on that one, it looks like. 3. And the one wanting to sue you, take your tunic, allow him also the cloak. And whoever will compel you to go 1 mile, go with 2. Be giving to the one asking you, and you should not turn away the one wanting to borrow from you. It's pretty straightforward. But I see you not listen to the one striving to shake, turn to the other. They always say the turn the other cheek part. That's what they always talk about. It really reminds me of like the quote, like Elizabeth Kenny, I think, was it? Those who anger you conquer you. So, I mean, if you put yourself in a position where someone slaps you, or someone wants to borrow from you and you don't really want to lend it, or if they're asking you to go on a journey with them for a mile, they're actually asking you of it, not implying. But if they're actually asking you, like, if you get angry from just that, they're kind of like conquering you in a way. It's like, why does that matter, you know? So it even piggybacks on to say yes or no. It's fine. But this one is like all, like, I think eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, if you think of it that way, we would say, well, slap him back then, right? It makes sense where it's like, it's just another way of like understanding that escalation is not what Jesus or God wants, I'm guessing. We talked about it last time where it was the part about blessed be the peacemakers, because those will be called sons and daughters of God. Where I do think that's an interesting thing to say it that way, because it sounds like, I mean, any good child that you have will do the things that you want them to do. Like, they're always like a good parent. A parent is proud of a child who like is doing a good job and whatever, right? Of what they would want for them. Like, that's why for me in Asian families, a lot of the jokes is like, they always want to try to be a doctor and do that stuff, and then they'll be really proud of them then because they're doing that what they want them to do, like, kind of thing. They're proud of them. And I always thought it was interesting with blessed be the peacemakers, because they will be considered, or they will be called sons and daughters of God. It implies that God as the Father wants us to be peacemakers, wants us to make peace. Because then if you do what your parents tell you, and you're doing something that'll make them proud of you, it would be something like you're obeying what they, like that. Like, again, a lot of parents want their kids to get in those high level universities, or a nice paying job, or getting someone, making their family their own, or whatever it is. So when it's like, blessed be the peacemakers because they'll be called the son of or daughter of God, it makes sense that it's implying that God as the Father wants to make peacemakers. Like some of his best children, the ones that he's most proud of, are the ones who make peace. And this kind of lines up with this one, where it's like, yeah, if you go by eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, and only look at that line, when someone slaps you across the cheek, you're supposed to slap him back. But he's saying, and I'm saying to you, try to make peace. Turn the other. Like, the only reason you'd get angry at that is if it matters to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if a random person slapped me in the street, my initial reaction wouldn't be to just take the eye for an eye. I'd just be like, what the hell is your problem? But that's it. Like, you're not gonna do eye for an eye, strictly eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Where I think it's like a lesson in de-escalation. So yeah, I think it's that. That's what I read it as. Peacemaking, de-escalation. And if you really get angry at someone asking you for favors, they kind of conquered you. That means they mean more to you than you think. And of course, doing good is actually, giving to the ones of asking you, and don't turn away the ones trying to borrow from you. Sometimes. 43. You heard that it was said, you will love your neighbor. Leviticus. You love yourself as your neighbor too. I mean, that's not. It is in Leviticus, but is that 19? I don't know. Anyway, you heard that it was said, you will love your neighbor, and you will hate your enemy. But I say to you, and anyway, I like it better. And I say to you, be loving your enemies, be blessing the ones cursing you, be doing good to the ones hating you, and be praying on behalf of the ones mistreating you and persecuting you, in order that you shall become or prove to be sons and daughters of your Father, the one in the heavens, because he causes his sun to rise to evil. He causes his sun to rise on evil people and good people, and he sends rain on righteous people and unrighteous people. For if you love the ones loving you, what reward do you have? Even the tax collectors do the same, do they not? And if you greet or are friendly towards your friends only, what more do you do than others? Even the tax collectors do so, do they not? Therefore you will be perfect, just as your Father, the one in the heavens, is perfect. Now, this is a doozy. Oh, man. Yeah. I love this one, though. Kindness is undefeated is one of my favorite quotes from Gary Vaynerchuk. And another quote that I really love is the guy who made Taoism. What was that? What's that called? It was like Lao Tse Tung or something like that. Lao Tse Tung, I think. Something like that. Lao. Yeah. Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu. Treat those who are good with goodness. Treat those who are good with goodness, and also treat those who are not good with goodness. Thus goodness is attained. Be honest to those who are honest, and be honest to those who are not honest. Thus honesty is attained. Or you could go straight to Gandhi and say, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. So if you want people to treat you well, you have to do it too. He was us to follow in his footsteps? He wants us to? He says he wants us to be sons and daughters of God, for sure. Yeah. He wants you? Well, it's interesting when we get to John. There's the ending of John is amazing for that comment, Giggles. Welcome. I've been meaning to message you. Sorry, I should message you soon. I'll do it. Sorry. I've been silly. But anyway. So yeah, it reminds me of those quotes too, which come way later than this. Obviously, Jesus predates that. I'm pretty sure. Is Lao Tzu before that? I don't know. Look at that. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's basically a lot of that, where it's like you can create, like, there's no real good if you're just only doing things to the people who are good all the time, because as later on, it's always talking about, like, they're all God's children, and the lost sheep. When you find a lost sheep, that there's more rejoicing than the people who are always good, because, like, we're all in this together. We're all in the we're all, as Bruce Lee said, under the skies, under the heaven, we're all one family. Or there's only one family. There's but one family, and it's like, in a family, if someone gets better, everybody's happy, right? So it's like that, and it's same with this. It's like, if I only, like, when we see it, for example, if you break it down in family again, if me and my parents are always treating each other well, but then I treat my a sister or brother like crap, right? Or they treat me like crap, it doesn't matter, like, that stuff. It's like the parents and everybody else in the family wants everyone to get along, right? And it's the same thing with this. So it's like, if you're only being nice to the people who treat you nicely, what good is it? Like, there's nothing that's just normal that's going to happen. So yeah, and he used God as an example here, which is a beautiful one, where it's like, if God, in the Genesis, where he creates everything and all that, if he created the heavens and the earth and all that stuff, then if he's letting the sun also rise for the evil people as well as the good people. He's also letting it rain for the righteous people and the unrighteous people. So he's sending that as a chance for people to, again, repent and turn and all that stuff, or try to get better, improve, and whatnot. And so it makes sense that I think it's actually helpful to treat those that way with the benefit of the doubt. And that's where love is a big one. They always say, like, loving your enemies. Love, whenever these ones like this come up, love is actually using agape, which is not philia, where you, like, love them. Like, in English, we think of love as philia too much, in my opinion. But in ancient days, like in Koine Greek and Hebrew, in the Hebrew and the Aramaic, there's at least like 5 or 8 different ways, different words for love. And when these ones come up, Jesus is always using agape. Like the ones that people, like, get kind of up in arms about, like this one, love your enemies, pray for your enemies, love your enemies, type of thing. The love he uses there is agape, and agape is actually universal love without it's basically like prejudgment, no prejudgment love. It's like what we were talking about before with, we're all one family. So agape would be like, just because you've screwed me over before, I don't know you're going to screw me over this time. That's agape love, right? I'm going to forgive and not forget, is kind of like agape love, where it's like, yeah, I know that you can go, if use an example of a friend like backstabbing. I'm like, I know you can backstab me, but you're asking me for this, or you're doing something, and even though you're being mean to me, and I think you've done some terrible things, I'm not going to think that you're always up to evil. I'm going to judge you as what happens afterwards, not prejudge, right? And that's usually like the agape love. It's like the universal love of the stranger. For example, if you see a stranger come up to you, you're not going to say, I know they're up to no good, unless with agape love. If you're giving them agape love, you're just going to say, I don't know what you're up to, and you can make determinations if they look like shady. That's still not agape love. I mean, that's still you can still agape love them that way, because you wouldn't love them and say I love you even though they look kind of dangerous, right? But agape love is like, even though they're dangerous, I don't know yet, I'm going to be on guard, get ready, but I'm not going to think that anything's going to happen. That's usually like agape love until it happens. And so it makes sense with here when he says, love your enemies. Yeah, there's some enemies out there that's probably done wrong to you or others that you care about. Don't think they're always going to do evil all the time. That's what usually that means to me in this line. It's like, you can love your enemies that way. Yeah, they might have done some things that bug the crap out of you and you think are just wrong. But the loving your enemies to me is that, and he used that as an example where God's like letting, even, giving sun and rain to all of them because it has a chance for them to get better over time. Let's see. So the last part is really interesting too. Like perfect in the Koine Greek. This is I really don't like that translation, but everybody uses it. But perfect is actually like, it's closer to completeness than perfectness, or it's about the same. Like the word for perfect that they use in the Koine Greek is more like a completeness. So like when you're completed, so you will be completed just as your Father is the one who's completed. Sounds a lot better than perfect, because we all know that we're not God and we can't be perfect and we're humans and all that stuff. and we always like go by the truth of like only God be perfect. But like this one is always a tough one. But I'm like, oh, when I looked at a lot of scholars saying, well, perfect in the Koine Greek actually is closer to completion, completed, right? And that makes sense where you will be perfect, meaning you will complete your life. You will complete the tasks of your life. Just as God, Father, the one in the heavens, is complete. You know what I mean? It sounds much better than perfect, in my opinion, because that doesn't make much sense to most humans, in my opinion. Like, we don't like it when people try to be perfect or try to be God, right? And then this is a line that says that. And I used to always struggle on this line because of that. But when I started looking at what biblical scholars were saying and saying, what about the what is about this line? The one study that made most sense to me was that looking at that word perfect in the actually ancient Greek is closer to complete than perfect, according to them. And I'm like, oh, that makes more, at least some sense to me. Where, yeah, asking you to complete, to be completed is fine, and God is complete. Meaning, that makes sense too. Not going to change all that stuff with that perfection, that type of perfection, the completeness of it, and it gives us something to do to get better. Which actually, the lines before this is all talking about getting better. So if we start doing those things, you know, hoping the best for the people that even though we think they're our enemies and whatnot, and giving them the benefit of the doubt until they do it again, and then you act accordingly or whatever. Then to be closer to completed is actually to get better at doing that. You know, to get better at loving your enemies the agape way. That's why I read that. Whew, we made it through 5. God. Is this really bad? Let me know. I'm just going on a rant, but that's what I'm doing. I mean, that's how I read the Bible, and it gets me thinking about things that is interesting to me. If there's something I can do better, let me know. But let's see. I was thinking until 2. That was my hour. Although I did start a little late, so I can go on. But I like finishing at the chapter, I think. Let me think. What's up ahead? 6. Yeah, that part. Those are good ones. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I'll stop at that. I'm still building this thing as I go along. So I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. But if any of you have any suggestions, let me know. And opinions. I need a change. So yeah. Turn alerts back on. Chill a bit. Check my Discord. Alerts are back on. What could I do on these? I'm gonna keep doing this, but like, let me know. I need to know what to keep doing and what not to do. Checking something. Okay. Hehehe. Sorry. Just thinking about alerts again. So yeah. Does this just clear the room? Guys in chat, if you're still here, if you're still alive. Yay or nay? I'll still do it because I'm reading the Bible to help clear my brain. But let me know what you think. What do you think? What are you guys thinking? Now's the time. Because I'm just starting this crap. Yeah, I cleared the room. Sweet. Nobody's talking. Excellent. My plan is, everything is proceeding as I have foreseen. Whoa, 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 that's not supposed to be there. Hey! Supposed to make changes. Just doing some editing. Hang on. Oh. Alright, cool. Well, I guess I'll have to ask for feedback elsewhere. That's fine. Hope you enjoyed it. Can we open the chest? That's the question. I don't know. Let's see. Is anything working? And we can't open the chest. Sorry, guys. It still says I have 265 lemons in there. And nothing else is and it's saying it's trying to distribute it all the time. Which sucks. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Alright. Okay. Well, all we need to do is send a host over to somebody. I'll be doing these Sunday nights. What is it? What day is it today? Tuesday nights and Thursday nights is my plan to do these. 3 times a week. Gets the brain pumping. Who shall we host? Let's see. Miss Thunder's there. I have to host Miss Thunder. Oh wait, Monster J's there too. Oh no. Must have King B. We have tons of people. Monster J or Miss Thunder? Who should I go to? I can't even roll dice, can I? Oh! What the heck? It's working? Things are working? Amazing. Alright. The chest isn't working. But, dice are working. Let's see. Higher than 50, we're gonna go with, Miss Thunder. Lower than 50, we're gonna go with Monster J. Let's go. Monster J wins the toss. Wait, did Monster J just stop streaming? No, wait, there she is. Okay. Monster J. Yeah, I'm looking for feedback sometimes, guys. I'm building this as I go along, so let me know what you like, what you don't like. I'll still be doing Bible studies 3 times a week, but let me know. I'll see. I'm BK Johnson. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. God bless. Monster J.